Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Now what I've got for you today is supposedly an epic match of Protoss versus Terran. This game was played I think about a week or so ago during the ESL Open Cup number 61. This is in the grand finals of the European version of that tournament. Now, after this match was played, half a dozen or so of you reached out on Twitter pretty much right away. And then last week, I went to Krefeld in Germany to commentate Stay-at-Home Story Cup. And a bunch of people over there as well. Like, for example, Rotterdam mentioned that this particular match right here on Lightshade is fantastic. So, I'm excited to find out exactly what ends up going down. Because spotting here in the top left-hand corner of the map and playing with the red Protoss probes from Germany, we have ShoWTimE. And his opponent in the opposite corner with the blue SCVs, he goes by the name of Clem. Two channel favorites, of course. Both of these guys absolutely top dogs in the European scene. And, well, I mean, they face each other quite regularly because especially in these online tournaments, right? Like, for example, the ESL Open Cup. They usually run into each other at least at some point. It's not too uncommon if they both decide to sign up. Now, I'm not gonna lie though, so last week, the videos that I posted, they were prepared in advance. So I was spending a whole lot of time the week prior to that trying to get a couple of videos done. So you probably didn't even notice if you don't follow me on any of my social media that I was away from home for a couple of days. It was nice though. So before the whole Corona situation, I used to do a little bit more traveling, right? I used to commentate other events. And it was fun to, you know, go different places and talk to fellow StarCraft nerds. Now, over the last year and a half or so, though, I've been sitting at home pretty much, like, all the time, right? Like most of you probably as well. And while I don't really mind it, I love casting games from home as well. It was nice to get a little bit of variety going. So the event took place just over the German border. So it's about a 2-hour drive or so for me. Even though I live in the center of the Netherlands is pretty small, all things considered. I know a lot of you can't even leave your country or state or whatever within like a 2-hour drive. Or maybe even the city that you live in, right? That might be a little bit ridiculous. But I think for me it was like a 2.5-hour or so drive to get there with traffic. And it was just nice to hang out once again with a couple of like-minded people. A lot of fun, actually. That tournament was a blast. Hoping that this time around, right, there was minimum staff available. And we all had to get a Corona test and all that as well. Or like minimum people for the production and all that is what I mean, right? I hope that next time around, maybe we can get some more people into the mix as well. And maybe the one time after that, we're gonna do regular events again, maybe? Hopefully by the end of the year, we're gonna see some quote-unquote standard offline tournaments once again for StarCraft 2. Anyways, Reaper right here is gonna pop onto the high ground. It's gonna spot that indeed it is gonna be a Twilight Council, which is nice right there. Always good to know that. Of course, Twilight, very common in this particular matchup. You can still go into the Dark Shrine, of course, if you want to. We saw, for example, Zest do that quite a bit. But I do think that Blink is probably the more likely choice right here from ShoWTimE, of course. He does play a variety of builds, but we'll see here exactly what he decides to go for in just a second. Aww. Is he in Clem Mlem? Mlem. Is that what it is? Alright, fantastic. Of course, he's also on Team Liquid, by the way. Probably the biggest esports organization in the world, I think. Yeah, I don't really know exactly as far as, like, biggest teams go, but they're certainly up there. It is, by the way, going to be that Blink upgrade. I mean, Clem, he knows he's up against ShoWTimE, right? ShoWTimE, in general, plays very, very safe. I know that some of the Germans are waiting for me to say the word, okay? Should I tell you guys his nickname? So, ShoWTimE's nickname is, get excited, Die Mauer. Apparently my Mawa pronunciation is a little bit weird. But it basically means the wall, right? ShoWTimE, of course, very good at playing that defensive style. And obviously playing a defensive style pretty much always means that you're going to be going for that macro-focused approach as well. Does decide to plant down the third Nexus at about the 4-minute mark. The nice thing about the Blink opener is that you can put on a little bit of pressure. So he's doing this, by the way, off of only 2 gateways. So, you know, third base off of 2 gates. Maybe not necessarily what you want to do if you're a new player on the ladder, but if you're really confident in your positioning and, you know, the location in which you need to position your units and when you need to be warping in stuff, right, and your building placement is on point, like for example here from ShoWTimE, this shouldn't really deal a whole lot of damage, hypothetically speaking. Blink is nice because you can defend your bases relatively easily. Okay. Second medevac right now also moving out. So both of these medevacs, yeah, they have 2 Widow Mines in them each. At this level of play, we don't really see massive detonations that often anymore, but it still happens. It happens more so than you would imagine, right? So every once in a while, like a Widow Mine just sneaks into the base, kills 10 workers, and then it's game over. Now, I'm assuming, since this game was recommended to me so many times, that's not going to happen in this particular match, because that would be a bit of a lame way of... Oh! Well, I say that. That would be a bit of a lame way of casting a match. Alright. A couple of units. We'll end up getting sniped. You know what? There's Widow Mine in... Oh, God. I just said it, huh? 6 workers at the exchange of a couple of Widow Mines. Yeah, 3 Widow Mines killed, I guess, as well. Maybe it's not the end of the world. Do feel like there may have been... like, this happens still, right? You'd imagine in 2021... I know why it happens. There's lots of different things going on, and obviously you gotta micro your units on all of the different bases and stuff. But you'd imagine at some point that those Widow Mine drops just don't deal any damage anymore, right? Because it's like the gold standard in this particular matchup for like a decade now. Well, actually, Widow Mines didn't get added to Harder to Swarm, if I recall correctly. But anyways, it's been around for a while. And, yeah, it still deals quite a lot of damage. I mean, 6 probes is not too much. Especially not if you kill the Widow Mines in the process as well. And if you have the 3rd base, obviously, far before your opponent. But still feel like it could have been ever so slightly cleaner. Okay, so this is when the gateway explosion happens, right? So I think with these gates for finishing up, we should be sitting at about 8 gateways, or 8 warp gates, that is. A couple zealots here are inside of the warp prism. This observer spots, though, that the Terran player is moving out right now. Now, Terran players always have a much bigger army at this point in the game. Protoss, though, is going to be able to warp in a lot of stuff right now. Charge is not done just yet. Stimpack, though, is also, well, just now finishing up. Gotta be so careful here if you are ShoWTimE. Your force fields have to be on point. You always have to be careful as well about drops that head into the main base. And speaking of which, there's a Widow Mine drop once again heading in. At the same time, though, there's also a Zealot warp in that could happen here inside of the main. I mean... usually we see Zealot warp-ins, but maybe not in this particular one at the same time. Whew. A couple force fields do get picked off. Actually, hold up. Can I back off for just a second? So while I was shouting at the same time like 3 times over and over again. Oh! Those Widow Mines! Those were traitor mines, man. They killed more SCVs. Well, they killed more SCVs than those Zealots. A little bit nasty, huh? Okay, well, I was talking about big Widow Mine detonations and mineral lines before. Didn't expect that it was going to happen as well inside of the mineral line of the Terran player. But hey, that's one way to even up the score. So quite a few workers. Like, you don't really... Workers killed does not seem to take this into account. We saw... Wait, didn't we see like 14 worker kills show up on the right side of the screen? And over here it says... Maybe the Widow Mine ones are not taken into account or something. I'm not sure. Wait, hold up. Can I... I'm just gonna double check again. Yeah. So we see 14 of those workers on the left side over here. But then the actual units lost tab, as well as like the workers killed tab, they don't actually show the correct amount apparently. Huh. Interesting. Maybe the game is also assuming, you know, that no one would be so stupid to lose all of their own units. You can't possibly have meant to lose so many probes right there to, you know, your own Widow Mines. That makes no sense. Apparently, the counting is not quite perfect. I mean, I already knew that, but I wasn't entirely sure exactly how it worked. Anyways, ooh, Prism over here. Okay. It's just not gonna be... Ooh, you did. Marauder Stim as well. Okay. At the same time, though, while Terran is very busy getting the Prism, which he eventually does get, a couple of the Protoss units decided to move forward, too. Okay. So, you know what? Now we have a game, right? I think actually this is a pretty good situation for ShoWTimE to be in. Usually defending that first big push is the tricky part, right? Especially when you go for such a quick 3rd base. Another Widow Mine once again, man. He's relentless with those mines. Usually defending that first push is really tricky because you're sitting at like 60-something workers against Terran who's got like 40-something workers. And your 3rd base is much sooner. But then you obviously want to delay the battle for as long as possible using those sentries to try and get a couple warp-ins in. Okay. Medivac over here will be picked off as well. 4th Nexus has not been acquired just yet, and Clem knows this. This could be an indication here, for the Terran player at least, that Protoss is going to go for a pretty big push here. So he's going to add some Archons into the mix as well. Okay. He's forced to stand once again and get on out of there. Ooh. Nice pickup. Nice Widow Mine shots. And it's kind of funny, though, how usually, like, the epic games are not going to be the games that the pro gamers would recommend to me, right? So, generally speaking, the really good games of StarCraft are the ones where mistakes are being made on both sides, right? From players that are really good. Like, Clem would never have recommended this game to me, right? After losing a bunch of workers in his own mineral line to his own Widow Mines. But those usually happen to be really good matches to cast. Anyways, yeah, Protoss is poking and prodding over here, but I don't see a prism. So I don't think he can really commit. Nah, I think that this is the right call. Sentries, maybe, with force shoots. Yeah, he's gonna try and set up... He doesn't have a whole lot of energy anymore. He's gonna try and set up a bit of a concave. Ooh, okay, he does decide to blink forward here. Very dicey movement here, though. Very dangerous. Yeah, this is what I mean. The Terran unit, or that Terran army can chase quite comfortably. Now, there's a lot of Zealots being warped in as well. You can see Clem really wants to kite backwards. Reinforcing Terran units now also come up. A couple Widow Mines end up burrowing here, which is neat. Obviously, you want to have those shooting at those Zealots if at all possible. In the middle of this, though, a 4th Nexus was acquired, and we do now also see the transition towards Psionic Storm. So that's going to be quite helpful. Observer here spots that there's going to be another army moving out, and obviously this is where Clem is really good, right? Clem is very good when it comes to that multitasking. He's an extremely quick player, so you wouldn't really say it right now from the average APM. But, I mean, that's still fast, obviously, but it's not much higher than his opponent. But he's very good at, like, dedicating enough attention at the right place. Okay. Nice defense here, though, so far by ShoWTimE. He's even chasing down these medivacs. Not bad. 4th Command Center, though, is going to be coming up as well. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a transition here towards, for example, Ghosts as well shortly from Clem. Just because having some sort of counter against those Archons, but also against those High Templar is fantastic. Alright. Zealots once again inside of the main base. Couple Widow Mines over here detonate, and apparently Clem is moving forward with the majority of his army to try and go after the 4th Nexus. Zealots will be cleaned up. Ooh, okay. Widow Mine's actually not getting too much value done. Nice defense here by ShoWTimE. Even decides to blink and chase after this army. One Widow Mine over there. A couple Zealots apparently will once again be warped in. They'll probably run on over towards the 3rd base. Widow Mine here is going to be able to connect with one of those Stalkers, but excellent micro here by both of these players. 4th Command Center, though, Mlem has been Mlem Clem. Clem Mlem, yeah, it's a good name. Anyways, it's going to morph obviously into a planetary fortress, which is fantastic. Protoss might be able to get on there. Once again, ooh, Widow Mine apparently connected right there with the Prism. At least that's what I'm assuming happened here. Okay. Zealots at the very least give a little bit of time. Once again, a Zealot over there sacrifice its life for the good of the Protoss. 5th Nexus will be acquired at the 12 o'clock position as well. And it looks like ShoWTimE is doing ShoWTimE things. He's happily expending. There we go, by the way. 2nd source of splash damage is going to be coming up. Robo Bay here, and then also the 2nd robotic facility. Should be Colossus for the time being, but obviously Disruptors are always a good choice as well. Now, there's not a whole lot of Protoss here available just yet. There's not enough energy for Storm on that High Templar either. He can just right-click on the base. There you go. Oh my god, this is so annoying, right? When you're a Protoss player. Even now loses the Prism there to a random Widow Mine that's been burrowed there for quite some time. Yeah, this is really unfortunate if you're a Protoss, because you're trying your best to defend all of this for such a long time, and you feel like you're holding on and you're splitting your army correctly, and you slip up for just about 1 second, right? ShoWTimE had most of the bulk of his army sitting over here. You blink twice, and the Nexus is gone. +2/+2 is finishing up as well, so maybe Clem could even continue pushing here. I'm assuming he knows about the 12 o'clock. Well, he should probably know that it's going to be taken around this time, right? So, by the way, you heard the Ghost reporting as well. Enhanced Shockwaves is going to be coming up. Don't know why the Ghost Academy is built over here. But hey, we don't judge. He's much better at Terran than we are, okay? So, apparently that's the best position for a Ghost Academy, right there in the middle of your mineral line. Decent storms going down here, but I mean, Zealots now are charging in from the back instead. Okay. I was gonna say, well, decent storms. I'm not even entirely sure if that was true. A couple of Medivacs, though, do get targeted here as well by ShoWTimE. Beautiful control here, man. The splits have been fantastic. Like, you saw Clem right there splitting off his units, trying to actually negate some of that target firing from the storm. But then, obviously, the Zealots could charge in and get a lot more service area in on those smaller groups of Terran units. Ooh, Colossus. Ooh. Thought for a second the Colossus was just rallying forward. It's gonna be 2 of those big boys all at once, which is really neat. 5th Command Center, though, floating on over towards this location over here. right north of the 4th. Extended thermal lens is one of those very critical upgrades. Gives, I believe, +3 range right here to the Colossi, so without that, I mean, it's obviously still useful, but Terran has a much easier time closing the distance. Okay. Aw, saddest zealot ever. These zealots, man, they've been sacrificing themselves for quite some time. There is a timing coming up, though, for ShoWTimE, I think, once he finishes up the extended range, right? Like, that's super helpful. His army is going to be very menacing. Sure, you got to keep in mind here that these ghosts can blanket his army with EMPs. He's not doing it just yet. I mean, the High Templar are inside of the Prism, so he can obviously drop those pretty easily. But actually, oh my god! I think the Prism right there ended up getting sniped, which means that, well, there's not going to be a whole lot of storms in that army. The question is, though, does it matter? Most of the High Templar are running dangerously low as well, but the Colossi are still standing strong. It already... Oh, okay. Whoa! Next level sacrifice there. I feel like there was a little bit of overkill as well. Colossi obviously deals splash damage, so if you put a Zealot right there on top of the mine, you don't even need detection. But the Prism right there ended up getting sniped. And with that, the High Templar... I mean, I think only one of them ended up dropping down, which really sucks. That is also the reason, though, why you want to get yourself multiple sources of splash damage. Relying on just one is kind of tricky. The one cheeky little Widow Mine. Oh my. Alright. It just walked in. Protoss, though? No Prism over here, obviously, but at least they have a scary army. And obviously, they can always warp in and just send the units in this direction. There's a couple of Stalkers available to deal with the Vikings. So there's 6 Vikings at this point. 3 Colossi, though. 6 Vikings is not enough. He is producing 4 of them at once, so that's good. I think you want at least like 10 or 12 at this point. Not entirely sure what the magic number is, but you need more than 6 is what I can tell you. And you gotta be careful, though. I think that ShoWTimE is overstaying his welcome. No Guardian shields over here. Maybe a Disruptor can change the tide of battle, but instead it's just, alright, giving its life as well for ire. Apparently, he took a page out of the book right there of those Zealots. And right now, I mean, I don't know if there's going to be enough, actually, for the Protoss player to push this back. I mean, the final Colossus ended up going down there as well. There's no Storm. There are Disruptors, so Disruptors can obviously be good, but... What a battle. Alright. ShoWTimE right now, 50 supply behind his opponent. That's not the situation that you want to be in. +3/+3 has not been started up yet for Clem, so that is something worth noting, because these Terran units are not as powerful as they could be. There's quite a few Disruptors, though. Already 4 of them out. 5th one is going to be joining in as well. Okay, Zealots will be needed to be warped in over here up north. 4 probes end up going down there, but the units have already picked up and are going to head on over into the main base. Clem, though, yeah, he knows that he's slowly suffocating his opponent right now. He knows that he doesn't necessarily need to go in for the kill on the main army. High Templar gets sniped. As long as he can just get rid of the economy, that's all going to be A-okay. Disruptors! Oh my god, okay, he was preoccupied elsewhere. Maybe he can take down this base, which would be okay. Yeah, Potent Cannon over there is quite annoying. Immortal, though, will be picked off as well. Okay. Ooh, battery overcharge being used very aggressively there by Dimawa. Marines over here will be able to get rid of the Photon, but it's not going to be quite enough. The micro battles here are insane. I just want to emphasize how easy it is to lose. Like, all of a sudden, you don't pay attention for a split second, your army disappears. Right? Clem already showcased it to us just now a second ago. Still think, though, he's looking mighty fine. He's going to be able to go for another command center over here. Planetary over in this location. I mean, it's already been acquired ages ago. Zealots are moving on over in that direction. Apparently one more. Ooh! Disruptor ended up getting picked off, so the Zealots will now find out about this base. That one was acquired a couple minutes ago, though, so this is not ideal here for Dimawa. Okay. Still, he's got a lot of reinforcements coming up. I love the focus right now on just basic gateway units. It's really tempting to only go for the big boys. I mean, Disruptors obviously are pretty good. Oh, the splits are insane. All right. Clem, man. What an absolute legend. Like, I know that someone out there is going to be inspired by this, and they will see one Disruptor and lose literally all the units as they accidentally micro into the Purification Nova, right? Like, it happens. It's very easy to look at this and think, oh, I could do this. Hold my beer. I got this. But when you're actually in the situation, you have so little time. Okay, he's just standing his ground this time around. The Vikings landed on the floor too. Since there's no more Colossi here in the mix, I mean, they're not serving as much of a purpose. Base at the 6 o'clock position will now also be acquired. But you know what? Even though ShoWTimE seemed like he was dead in the water a little bit ago, right? He was like 50 supply behind. He's caught up really nicely with some of those Purification Novas. And by playing the way that ShoWTimE likes to play. Now, massive EMP, though. Goes down on all of the units that were walking down that ramp. Liberators have also joined the fray. So, Liberators obviously really nice at sieging away at this army. Ooh, once again, good split there. Yeah, those Liberators are just happily firing. A couple of the Vikings apparently landed over here. Now, Vikings deal bonus damage to mechanicals, so they got 6 probes. There you go. 6 probes very quickly. Let me take a sip of my tea, okay? Oh, my tea's gone cold. I'm wondering why. I got out of bed at all. Okay, no. Love getting out of bed. Got some StarCraft, dude. It's not a bad idea. Now, okay. Apparently ShoWTimE, he's looking at this and he's like, okay, I can't really fight that main army head on very easily. What I can do, though, is use Disruptors for the defense. Oh, shit. That was so close. All right, I thought I just saw the entire Terran army disappear, but then Clem picked up units in time, target fired the right Disruptor at the correct time as well, and he just barely managed to stay alive. Anyways, ShoWTimE is going in for what seems to be a base raise right now. +3 seems like it's going to finish, which is really nice for the Terran player. Big advantage over there. He's going to be able to break through the natural, though, of our Protoss player, too. I don't think that Forge upgrade is going to finish here anytime soon, though. Okay. Now, there's a bunch of Liberators sieged up on the ramp, right? Okay, apparently a couple of Zealots probably wanted to be warped in inside of the main, too. Not quite going to happen. There's a couple High Templar here available over at the 3rd. Maybe with some storms, they can push back this army. Protoss at the same time, though, is going to head on over towards this base. Liberators obviously can easily siege over here, too, but I've got a feeling that they're going to arrive after, indeed, the planetary fortress will get picked off. Massive EMP, once again, blankets all of those Protoss units, but I think at this point it might just be a numbers game. There are High Templar available, and the other units obviously can easily reinforce this, too. 2 bases for really only 1, right? I mean, obviously a bunch of probes ended up going down as well. Oh, my God. All right, we have seen loads of workers going down here. Once again, all of the Zealots end up getting surrounded. EMPs do get landed here once again on that Protoss army. Liberators up in the sky, but you don't really need to fight within those liberation zones, right? Ooh, big storm. Good splits, though, here by Clem, at least initially. Love that during all of this, Clem just happily expanded once more. He's getting himself some new production going as well. What a game. All right. This base over here is starting to run dangerously low. A couple of the bases actually are starting to run low. ShoWTimE also took the opposite base. Widow Mine. Yeah, these random Widow Mines that are burrowed everywhere are super helpful. Not only just for, like, dealing damage, but also just of keeping track of what's going on. The new Mlem base has been acquired, but not for long, as this base will easily be killed. Once again, High Templar drop out of the prison, but none of them have energy. So I think he picked them up once again, yes. And let him sit in there for a little while longer. Maybe one. Okay. One cheeky little Disruptor before Liberator before blinking away. Orbital Command is going to be floating on over towards this direction. I think one of those Liberators may have been a bit greedy, though, yeah. Zealots moving on down once again. Expecting to find the new Orbital Command here. Maybe the old main base. Not quite going to happen. Man, what a game. High Templar are accumulating energy while inside of the plane, right? And that's big. Protoss actually, oh, there's one Liberator over here, man. Okay. I was gonna say, he's putting all of his probes right there on one expansion, which is a bit unfortunate. Zealots over here, though, in a dangerous spot. A couple Widow Mines burrowed all over the place, but they are getting some pretty good detonations. And that being said, there is one storm once again landing on top of this army. Liberator super helpful, but once more, one massive storm lands on pretty much all of those Terran units. That said, there's a load of Marauders left over, and all of the units that I see here on the side of the Protoss are weak to this good old Marine Marauder Zealot, right? I think that this is an army that you can push with if you're Clem. Gotta be so careful, those Zealots. They want to kill you, man. They have blades coming out of their arms. I don't know how they eat. I don't know how they wipe their ass. Actually, they don't have orifices. We learned that in the Legacy of the Void campaign. Ugh. He wants to engage so badly, but ShoWTimE also wants to wait for one more of those warp-ins here. Grabs that Liberator. Nice. Disruptor comes in as well from the left. There's not that much Terran left over anymore, and I've got a feeling maybe that Clem can continue walking back towards the safety of a planetary in this way. But I mean, that means that the orbital will end up going down. All of these... Oh my god, all of these Terran units are so dangerously low. Most of the medevacs have no energy anymore, so they're not going to be able to heal up those Terran units either. I feel like you can continue pushing here. Now, by the way, that Liberator is still denying this expansion. Absolutely massive. If you manage just to hold on, that is, Clem, I feel like that Liberator may actually be like an absolute game changer. He's been denying that base for such a long time. Orbital, though, is just going to get picked off. Okay. Yeah, he's not really had the luxury of warping in units on the left side of the screen. Is there enough right now for Clem to push us back? Good splits once again. I'm beginning to feel like I'm a rap god. Rap god. Well, the Terra Marines... No, I'm not gonna do it, guys. But I feel like I'm chrono boosting out my cast. Is what I'm trying to say, okay? Okay, finally the Liberator leaves. I don't know even why. Immediately as that happens, ShoWTimE decides to... oh, he's repositioning himself. Are the probes really now gonna mine over there? That'd be kind of silly. Zealots, you guys can't kill that. Anyways. Wow, he's now gonna be occupied with that expansion down below. Clem kills the one at the 12 o'clock position. I mean, I almost feel like you should pick up and head on over in the main base. Obviously, we know exactly what's in there. And it's not a whole lot, but... Wait, did that one Liberator just... Wait. Oh, no. Obviously, a bunch of probes ended up going down as well. I thought for a second all these Liberators just... or this one Liberator over here just killed like 20-something probes. Man, those... Like, I feel like these Medivacs... Oh, one more storm and they're gone. There we go. Okay. Yeah, killing those Medivacs is absolutely massive. Terran, though, still has some good splits left in him. Nicely done here. Whoa. Disruptors, though, are chipping away at this army. And it's really not so hot anymore for Clem here, right? I mean, he's got the bases up here, which is nice. But it's really only two base mining here. The same can be said for Protoss. So he's only really got 2 base mining as well. But this army here from Protoss is a little bit more sophisticated. I almost feel like warping in sentries is a good idea. Guardian Shield would be absolutely massive against these small armies of the Terran player. Now, I do want to say though that, like, I know I've been hammering on this Liberator for a while, but this Liberator denied the mining time over here for like a minute or two, right? Like that is thousands of potential, well, I don't really know exactly what number it is, but it's like a lot of additional resources that the Protoss player would have had. Clem is, by the way, showcasing absolutely top-notch micro. It's like, yeah, it's not perfect, because, I mean, how? Right? That seems to be nearly impossible, but it's so easy to, like, literally lose everything. Okay, are we gonna go back to Widowmine drops? Blink? Nope, no blink. I think we might be going back to Widowmine drops. If he gets like one big Widowmine drop, right, and he gets one big-ass detonation, which could easily happen here in the chaos that this Terran versus Protoss. If he gets like a couple of Widowmines burrowed in those locations, that is going to be pretty neat. Okay, Terran army over here. Maneuvering around. There's quite a lot of Terran still available, man. These Medivacs are slowly healing this army back up. Disruptor flows on forward as well. He's trying to go bowling on these Terran units, but he's not quite going to be able to get it. One High Templar instead of the Prism. Medivac is still chilling over here. Okay, there it is. This could actually be... Okay. Could actually be game over. It's one way to deny mining time. Okay. There's actually a lot of High Templar here. I almost feel like you need to bring the High Templar to this party, my man. Having 5 High Templar accumulating energy on a base that's not currently under attack is nice, but... Oh! Prism goes down. Probably not exactly what you want. That being said, ShoWTimE apparently looks at his army. He's like, nah, you don't need that. I don't need to deal a whole lot of splash damage anymore. I can just push him back to the safety of the planetary fortress. Maybe go bowling! Okay, good split once again there by Clem. Getting himself a decent amount of trades. No planetary fortress up here. So he's going to be able to easily kill his army. And the Disruptors, I mean, this is one thing they're really good at as well, is just buying time, right? Pushing back that Terran force. You can obviously run into it, but I don't think that's going to be a great idea. Right now, I mean, is there enough Terran units to once again push this back? Loads of SCVs end up going down. A couple probes apparently also go down somewhere on the map. Oh my god, the storms with the flank! These are the High Templar that were on the base at the bottom. They get killed pretty easily. Now, once again, great splits right there by Clem. Holy crap. We have seen so many workers go down in this Terran versus Protoss. I mean, right now, I'm looking at this Protoss army. Okay, well, I was gonna say, it doesn't look so menacing anymore, and then all of a sudden, a couple of those space wizards come floating forward. Okay. Alright, alright. A little bit of a moment to breathe. Look at the actions per minute, by the way. Man, ShoWTimE is a really fast player. I've never really paid attention. Like, I've seen it in the past as well, but my god. For a Protoss player to have nearly 500 average actions per minute. I know it's all rapid fire and stuff, but like... Okay. Zealots. ShoWTimE, you absolute beast. Got a couple zealots over here. So, we're getting to the point where pretty much all of the bases are going to be mined out, other than the one over here, and maybe the one... this one actually doesn't have a whole lot over... Yeah, doesn't have a whole lot left over either. Now, ooh, okay. One Medivac, carrying a couple of ghosts. Yeah, he ended up getting some good EMPs right there, and it reduced the health of those Archons, but also the High Templar significantly. Nicely done here. One Zealot, once again, will be moving on over. Imagine if this was a planetary, right? I mean, I know he had a planetary here earlier, but, yeah, these Zealot run bys are super annoying. It requires a lot of actions to have to deal with, and for Protoss, they just warp them in and send them over in that direction. A couple of these Marines are not going to be enough, though, no. Okay. So finally, the main base is going to float on over towards, I guess, the old third base location. I almost feel like Protoss has to go after this expansion, but committing 400 minerals right now to a new base is a lot. Okay, now I kind of like this. He's only at 42 workers, but he's going to go for a Dark Shrine. In a way, this is once again a two-base opener right now from the Protoss, right? If you've ever played Protoss, you know how scarce you are when it comes to resources at those points in the game. Oh, he is going to commit minerals right now to that expansion too. He's tacking up, so he's going to go Disruptors, Dark Templar, and a fourth base, a 400 mineral base, rather. This is a bit dangerous, though. Clem knows about it as well, so I don't think that expansion is going to happen here anytime soon. Pay attention here to the EMPs and the blankets of the storms. Okay, all right, very nice feedback here. Once again, I love the ghost drops, man. Ghosts to try and land EMPs much in the same way as like Protoss has put their High Templar instead of Warp Prisms. Super sick. Well, this base obviously ended up getting cancelled. No way that is going to be mining. Expansion up north will eventually run out, though. And what is going to happen at that point? Like, how much money is left in these bases? Not that much. A couple thousand. Same for Protoss, by the way. Like, ooh, he's running very low. He's got barely any money. Now, Dark Templar in this spot. I mean, there's once again a traitor mine ready to go. Dark Templar are obviously very helpful, especially when there is no detection, which is also the reason why we see missile turrets planted down. High Templar, once again, lends some good storms, and high ground advantage here is massive. Dude, storm drops could also be quite good, right? Okay, there's one Dark Templar moving on over. I think it's heading on over towards this expansion that the Protoss doesn't want to see mining here. Okay, alright, nicely done. No, actually, he's just bypassing it entirely. Ooh, a couple of snipes do go down. Okay, once more. EMPs! Okay, he EMP'd most of the High Templar there. At least the High Templar in the front. There's more in the back. Once again, another Storm Dome goes down because there were still apparently some High Templar inside of the Prism. Another Prism ends up going down. That being said, ShoWTimE does apparently now blink forward. I think it's time for him to back off now because there's the Terran reinforcements coming up as well. Disruptor is going to force these Terran units to at the very least split off. How many High Templar are we at? There's 8 High Templar. That seems to be the majority of this Protoss army right now. Storms are really good, and that's a beautiful storm. Holy crap. What a game. Okay, well, with that expansion mined out, and with Clem securing the low ground over here quite well, he's gonna send the SCVs towards that juicy, juicy location. Clem must know that the bases up north no longer are mining. Meaning that these expansions over here are gonna be running out very soon as well. And with that, we will also very likely see you know, the Protoss player being forced to make a desperation move, right? So I like what he's doing. Oh, picks up the ghost there. Beautiful little move. I like what he's doing here, but I don't think you necessarily have to play too aggressively if you are Clem, because it's a bit of a risk, right? Okay. Ghost ends up going down there, as you could hear, by him screaming over and over and over again. Okay, there's no energy here for EMPs. So those High Templar, they're ready, man. Look at the Immortals, or sorry, the Marauders now stepping in front too. They're like, nope, if you want to fight me, you gotta storm me, rather than the Marines. But this base over here, ay, ay, ay. Can we have a look at the income? Yeah, look at this. It's not looking so bad right now yet, right? But I'm looking at these mineral patches, and they're all looking dangerously skinny. This expansion is the most likely for ShoWTimE to retake. Okay. Maybe that's what he needs to do. Apparently, though, he's gonna send all of the zealots that were in that army towards this expansion. There is a Widow Mine over there. He's at the same time moving down this ramp. Okay. Okay, good split off right there on the zealot. Base is just gonna end up getting evacuated. One Dark Templar over here is just gonna start slicing up Jimmy, Martin, Alex. Timmy, no! Oh my god, everyone's just dying. Well, that was worth it, 100%, right? EMP right there actually being the detector. This base, though, has now been forced to lift up. Couple of feedbacks right there on top of the medivacs as well, which is fantastic. Without energy, that can't heal up these Terran troops. So every stimpack starts counting quite a bit more. It's down to the final minerals. Like, this base over here is the one that I think ShoWTimE is going to need. He's got 28 probes right now on 4 mineral patches, though. That's really not what you want. Okay, High Templar. Or sorry, Observer gets sniped once again, and Ghosts move forward. Man, the Ghosts are so big. Once again, nice EMP over there, but he does grab a couple of the Ghosts as well. No pickup this time around by the Terran player, although he tried. I think you want to back off, man. I think you want to back off here if you're ShoWTimE. Yeah. Let these Protoss units accumulate some more shields once again. These Archons get killed so easily when they don't have shields. If you look right now at the army value, yeah, Clem is still slightly ahead, I think, in that regard. But, I mean, Storm can change everything. Speaking of which. Nice. I'm pretty sure that ShoWTimE plans on winning here with the army that he's got. No more mining. No more mowering. He can't EMP without having high ground vision, right? And it's super tricky. He needs to see this. Okay, there goes Jimmy. Jimmy wants to know where that Protoss army is. He sees that it's fallen back. Battery overcharge, obviously, is very potent. Actually, I guess with Protoss abandoning the high ground, maybe you can push forward. High Templar, though, mostly in the back, which is obviously the way you want to do this. But yeah, this expansion is looking real solid, right? And Clem is slowly building up his army supply. I feel like action has to be on ShoWTimE. Look at this. He's got so many probes. I feel like you bring the probes to the party right now. Just maybe a tech move with them as well, or come in with a flank so you can distract some of those Terra units and maybe have some of the shots go on them instead. High Templar! Oh my god, the Ghost is going around the back! Massive EMP goes down on all of those High Templar. That means no Storm other than, like, maybe 3? He needs to capitalize on this right now if he wants to, though. Disruptor over here will get picked off as well. There's Storm number 1. Okay, another Ghost moving forward. Can they get an EMP off? Battery overcharge is something worth noting as well, because obviously it can keep these Protoss units alive for quite some time. But I've got a feeling that Clem is just building up his army over here. There's like 1 Storm available, but it's all the way in the back. Widow Mine connects once again. I think there is too much Terran, and just like that, Clem managed to pull off an insane victory. That was intense. That was so good. I hope you enjoyed watching this game. This may very well be one of the very best games of TVP I've ever seen. That was absolutely top notch. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, if if you didn't, I don't know, man. I don't know, maybe you're a really salty Protoss player or something. You're like, Ghost, EMP too strong. But honestly, if you did enjoy it, please do me a favor and hit that like button down below. If you are the 1% though and you didn't like watching this game because you are maybe a bit of a salty Protoss, do me a favor and hit the dislike button. At the very least, interact with the video, so maybe the video will get picked up by the YouTube algorithm. Anyways, today I want to give a special shout out to the Patreon supporters. Thank you very much for your generosity. But for now, thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile. And I'll see you once again in the next one.